Assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam. I pray you guys are having a great night. I'm going to read here a little bit on the basis of all realities, which is the V, basis of all realities. In 1964, at the age of 30, I was introduced to one of the most important secret and sacred teachings of the Congo, a Bantu-speaking ethnic group in the center of West Africa, along the shores of the Atlantic Ocean. Here, the word Bantu should be understood as an anthropological term. As such, one has to see and understand it as a complex house with tens, if not hundreds, of rooms. Each of these rooms will be seen, understood, and taken as an ethnic group such as that of the Congo people. These teachings of Congo were offered at the Lemba Institute in Manianga, the lower Congo, where I was born. This institute was one of 5 main institutes that existed in the ancient Congo kingdom prior to the colonial era. The 4 others were Kimpasi, Kinkimba, and Buelo, and Kinkumbi. The last Kinkumbi Institute was specialized to focus on womanhood and all its related issues. All teachings in these institutes were Bantu people teaching, i.e., related to the complexity of the Bantu house as they were disseminated within the Congo realm. Because of this secrecy and sacredness, as well as their mystic nature, only initiated individuals were allowed to enter these institutions. The exception is Kinkumbi, that requires one major condition for any female candidate to enter. The condition to enter the womanhood institution is to be of age. This means to have had one's first menstruation. It is at this stage that a female candidate of Bantu culture in the Congo area is introduced to the secrecy and sacredness of the first V, in both its biological aspects to life and living in the inner environment of any life to be. The Kikumbi was the only institute that disseminated not only the secrecy and sacredness of the first V to its candidates, but its mystic meaning as well. To illustrate these candidates that the teachings were highly powerful, secret, and sacred, all candidates were painted with the tukula red symbol of both danger and death, maturity and leadership. The symbolic painting of the candidate in red tukula was fundamental to convey the essence of the teachings to all. This prevented these teachings from being violated by those who offer the first environment, the inner environment, to any living being to be born. Here we are talking about what I call the reverse V, as it will be discussed. Because of this closed-door policy to the non-initiated, colonial powers decreed these institutions as dangerous to the survival of colonization. Consequently, these institutions were destroyed without taking into consideration their social, culture, educational, and spiritual or moral values. Many of these unyielding leading masters were executed or jailed for life. The remaining masters took these institutions underground for hundreds of years for fear of reprisal from both the colonial and religious powers. It is at the feet of some of these underground masters that I learned not only about the V, the basis of all realities, but the foundation of the Bantu people system of thought, as well their cosmologies. No one can truly understand the V without any basic knowledge upon Bantu worldview or their cosmology. Our own work, as would later write 2 American scholars, is the first on the subject. This study is the first in any language to reveal the system of popular Congo religion, its cosmology. Understanding the worldview of people is the cornerstone for understanding their culture. If the Bantu cosmology was only revealed to the outside world by the 1966, a few years after the liberation of most Bantu people era, then one can also say that the Bantu world is yet not truly understood by the outside world, neither culturally, artistically, nor philosophically. Therefore, Western literature of Africa prior to this date must contain many fantasies which must be dismissed if one is willing to contribute to the process of building African scholarship in Africa and the diaspora. Superficial scholarship anywhere in the world is very dangerous in terms of human relationship. It is always better to remain quiet than to utter wrong statements about other cultures come to haunt you. Many of the world's tensions today are the results of such wrong statements. It is not easy for outsiders to access the cultural core of a given people unless one is guided by a local native master. This is the case of the V here. The Congo V was never talked or written about. It is an integral part of the Congo cosmology, a worldview that was never revealed before 1966 by local masters. Now we are able to talk about and discuss it openly as it was understood and disseminated in ancient institutions of the Bantu world. The V, what is it? One may promptly ask, because this subject is exciting and vital to life. I have lectured on this subject many times since I have been living in the States, both privately and publicly, in colleges, universities, museums, culture centers, and in jails as well. Everything, including individual and collective life, depends upon it. National security itself of any country is subject to it, and yet it remains a secret to the great majority because they are not aware of it. The V is one of the most important key in understanding life on the planet Earth and in the cosmic bodies, planets, as well. If life exists, there too. It is in some way life itself as we try to know it. Everything is a V because the beginning itself, or the Big Bang, exploded in the form of a V. Because it is the bridging wire between thinking matter, the human Muntu, and the world of unthinking matter, the world and source of ungrasped ideas and images. The V is the basis of all inspirational realities, such as a great idea, images, illustration, inventions of all orders, including works of art, wars and conceptions, both biological and ideological as well. It is the process, dingo dingo, to all changes, social and institutional, natural and unnatural, seen and unseen. To talk about the V is to talk about realities, whether they are biological, inspirational, or ideological, material, or immaterial. They all pop into our minds in forms of the V, beam span of the V. Inside us, at the Musuni zone of the Congo cosmology, we seek for this idea and images through the open beam of the V. Inside our mind, and on the contrary, we focus details and specificities on the reverse beam of the V. This V is not a religion nor an academic exercise which may consist of transferring bones from one graveyard to another. It is one of the most secret keys of life and living. Cosmically, the V teaches with all simplicity the formation process, the dingo dingo, of the universe and its bodies of planets, while biologically it explains the formation as well as the developmental process of life through all its stages: conception, birth, maturity, and death. With the V, one can ideologically understand the social system, the rise and their fall. The V has a standing ground, the untouchable dark matter that constitutes the printing dark room of realities. From this dark room, pictures and ideas become realities in human minds, which channel them into transformation processes that lead them to tangible realities. V is the core to all cycles inside which V stands. These V's are individual or collective, material or immaterial, biologically or ideologically, Inside the community circles, V stands the master Nganga, teacher, priest, as a powerful figure. The power figure, the leader, the priest, the Nganga, who stands powerfully at the center of the community, issues Mambu, becomes the Egyptian Ankh or symbol of life. Our course among the Bantu people, and an Nganga stands vertically and powerfully inside the community V as the symbol of active life in the community. From the V, the human being, the Muntu, comes to be Kala, the within the V. He extinguishes Zima as living energy. Therefore, the V in reality is a living pyramid in constant motion, which follows the path, which follows the path of life, and passes the four main points of demarcation of the cosmogram Dikenga, which in turn is symbolized by the flame of life inside the community circle. The closer one is to the center of this flame, whose V is the symbol, the healthier, the more powerful one is. On the contrary, the more distant one is from this center, the weaker and less powerful one becomes. African people in Africa and the diaspora have lost their closeness to the center of the community culture V. The Bantu Congo philosophy, whose V is only one of its most important aspects, teaches that human being, the Muntu, plural Bantu, is both a living energy being, spiritual being, and a physical being, matter. It can be said a VH being, i.e. he is being, Kadibe, that stands vertically, i.e. the thinks, reasons, ponders, for he walks and acts to meet horizontally the challenges of the instinctive world. This is the horizontal world, which is the main ground to all learning. Walking horizontally is a process, an emotion with one intention, which is going to learn from one's environment. The circle for knowledge is not in us, it is outside of us. We are only shelving machines, living computers with the power to collect and shelve the information for future use at will. Horizontal motion is especially a cognitive process. Dingo dingo. Without this cognitive motion, the human being, the Muntu, becomes powerless in his own environment, both inner and outer. On the VH ground, vertical and horizontal, the human being, the Muntu, has two planes for his motion movements. On the horizontal plane, he can move in four directions: forward, backwards, leftwards, and rightwards. Motions toward these four directions are for learning, i.e. collecting information, what we call data. To be shelved in this bank, the mind, but thanks to the vertical plane, he can walk into three more directions, of which one is critical to both his health and self-healing. The vertical plane allows him to walk downwards, upwards, and for perfect health, true self-knowing, and self-healing, walk inwards. And salam alaikum, malaikum salam. I hope you guys understood a little bit. Sorry for my mistakes. You know me, like always. Have a great day and great night.